Rafiki Simone, and I am presenting to you the last of the Planetary Magic series that I had started last year before I had hit my awakening. So I am finishing this and I'm calling it Saturn's Return. This is the last installment of the Planetary Magic series. Saturn was last, and I am well aware that this is um, almost like a symbolism of some of you actually going into Saturn's return or coming out of Saturn's return. Nevertheless, this is going to be probably one of the most powerful installments of the Planetary Magic series that I have done. And I'm grateful and thankful that all of you have been with me. Those of you who are part of the Patreon, you already still have access to all of the other Planetary Magic videos. This one is going to be the freebie. If you are not a part of the Patreon, please run over there and get the rest of the Planetary Magic series so you can put this together and utilize this in everyday life. This can be your daily and or hourly magic presentation that you can actually apply to your life on a daily basis. Please be advised that any of information that I present to you is going to be downloads from Spirit to me and through research combined. Okay, thank you so much. What is Saturn's return? We are going to get to that as soon as we can get to the presentation, and it's going to be throughout the presentation as well. So please listen up, get your pens and your papers ready. If not, please pause it right now so that you can be able to do that. Let's get into it. Before we get into the depth of what Saturn and Saturn's return uh, correlates, corresponds, brings to us, sends to us, whatever you want to call it, I want to be able to break it down to you in sections. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the characteristics of Saturn, the corresponding deities of Saturn, animals, planets, and metals of Saturn, parts of the body that Saturn governs, candle and spell work correlations, and that's what we're going to be doing. Saturn's planetary symbol. This is what it looks like. It's a cross, almost like a shepherd's crook that is windy, or I don't know what the word that I'm looking for, but it's almost like an upside down S. That's what it looks like. This is called God's sickle, right? So before I get into that, Saturn is known as the sixth planet from the sun and the second largest planet in our solar system, and it rules the sign Capricorn, right? And it bears its name after the Roman god of agriculture, which is the symbol of the sickle, right? So you have agriculture, which is wheat, anything that grows off the ground, corn, that type of thing. Then you have the sickle, which comes to cut down what has been put in the ground, right? So when it's time for it to be birthed or harvested, you use the sickle, you cut it down. Now this is whether you put good or bad in the ground. It has now grown and matured, and now God is coming to reap the harvest. Now he's going to come and reap the harvest to see whether or not what was good, what was bad. Now whatever you call God, Buddha, Muhammad, whatever, Krishna, whatever leads you to the energy of love, that is exactly what I'm talking about. I just choose to call God certain names, and it's okay with me. I respect everyone's walk. As long as you believe in something higher than yourself that leads you to love, that is fine. Okay, so now we're talking about Grim Reaper energy. This is what you call death and rebirth energy. Death energy and rebirth energy, right? So Saturn is governed by a few things. And scripturally, it talks about Genesis 8 and 22. As long as the earth remains, seed time, harvest, cold and heat, summer, winter, day and night will never cease. This is talking about harvesting. Harvesting as long as the earth remains. Seed time and harvest. You are always going to have seed time and harvest, right? 2 Corinthians 9 and 6 talks about whoever sows sparingly will reap sparingly. Whoever sows generously will reap generously. So whatever you have put in the ground, and this is also from physical to spiritual. If you have been putting things in the ground, y'all, spiritually, that has been taking a long time for you to see the return of it, trust me, you're getting ready to see the return of it right now. That's why I have Galatians 6:9 up here saying, let us not be weary in well doing, for due season we shall reap if we faint not. Now, you do not have to be a Christian in order for these scriptures to apply to your life. If, as long as, again, you are walking with the spirit and the energy of love, you will reap harvest if you faint not. Okay? So it is important. Now, before I continue to go to the next slide, I want to point out that many say that Saturn is a masculine energy, right? Which I don't overlook. However, I do believe that Saturn is somewhat of a spiritual hermaphrodite. I believe that it can teeter-totter or shape-shift between masculine and feminine energy. I will break this down a little bit later, okay? So let's go to the next slide. The characteristics of Saturn. Okay, the characteristics of Saturn under masculine rule. The nature of Saturn under masculine energy has been said to be malefic, meaning harmful, spiteful, or vicious with malicious or evil intent. In Vedic astrology, they give you certain what they call remedies, certain things to do, certain chants or mantras to say, and certain types of things to wear on your body to be able to pacify what they call malefic energies of Saturn. Okay. However, when it's under feminine rule, Saturn energy is a bit more, it's benevolent and it's benefic. They call it benefic, which is actually more of the greater good. It's just that it goes about it a certain way that you would least expect to bring around certain energies to you that will serve you to your highest good. Okay, so with characteristics of Saturn, you have law and order, karma, structure and order, being responsible, having discipline, embodying ambition, obligations, and commitment. Now, as I break this down, law and order is why many people don't like Saturn, okay? Saturn, under its masculine energy, holds law and order to the natural realm, which means, watch this, if there are any loopholes in the natural law and order, Saturn has a way of, I hate to say this, but almost kind of helping bad energy do bad things. And it's not because it wants to. However, thankfully, we are now in the age of Aquarius, and that shit ain't flying. What is now happening is that the feminine energy of Saturn has now arisen. And now the spiritual law and order is now being upheld even over the natural, even more now as we speak. We're starting to see more of a spiritual energy come forth and claim hold to the real ordinances of God, which is of the spiritual realm. You have spiritual laws and spiritual principles that are in place that overrules natural order. And this is why God is now allowing the teachings, the feminine teachings of Saturn to go forth, because this has to be taught in order for you to understand why certain things are happening, right? So Saturn teaches you to abide by spiritual law when in the feminine energy, natural law when you're in the masculine. So Saturn is what you call father time when it's in the masculine, and then it's called karma when it's in the feminine energy. All right. Hopefully I'm making sense. All right. So we're going to go to the next slide. Now here we're going to be talking about the Saturn deities. Now before I go forth, the last slides that I did in planets for planetary magic for the last planets, for every planet, I actually put pictures of deities up. I'm not going to be doing this with Saturn because I have to teach different now. The way that I'm teaching different is I don't want you guys to go out and get statues and stuff of them. Now you can use certain things for certain energies, but you have to understand that you don't need to have statues or different other things. You don't want to worship them. It's okay to get a small statue or something as a reference but you actually don't really need that. You can work with these energies. Deities are nothing but higher energies, okay? And what you want to do is, first of all, be respectful. If these energies grant you anything, you always want to be grateful and thankful. Shout out to Eve the Medium, whom I seen a video of her actually explaining how you should always give thanks, be thankful, and give gratitude to those energies, deities, and ancestors that help you. Because when you show them gratefulness and thankfulness, and you give them the offerings that they ask for, you will be surprised how well and that they would keep the doors open to help you. Okay, so as long as you are giving unto them, they will serve you. Again, you are not worshiping them or falling at their feet. You're not placing them in the place of God. These are deities and energies that you are exchanging energies with for help. And in turn, you are giving them help in their realm. All right? So let's go forth. Saturn itself, which is the god of agriculture, wealth, and war. So for those of you who are farmers, okay? For those of you who are farmers, or those of you who deal with agriculture, or you want to deal with agriculture, I suggest that you first get on the right side, because I'm telling you, when you deal with Saturn in a malefic way, in a malignant way, in an evil intended way, what happens is Saturn will still spank your ass. You can come to Saturn and ask for Saturn for something that is evil or malicious, and if it's granted unto you, immediate karma is going to follow, because Saturn is no longer really in a masculine energy. Now, you can work with Saturn in a masculine or malefic energy to bring karma around to someone who has done you harm, or who has done you to basically to pay back evil. Saturn can help you. However, once you put it in place, and once you work with the energies of Saturn, it has to be under war energy. All right. So again, that could be under the day, the day of Saturn, which is Saturday, under the hour of Mars, or you could do it the day of Mardi, which is Tuesday, and do it under the hour of Saturn. And listen, it would be truth. Now, you won't be able to do, now watch this, if the righteous had to do something in order to protect themselves, you cannot go to Saturn and think that karma is going to come back around. Okay? You can't do that. It's not going to work out, and it's not going to happen. But what is not, and again, I'm saying this for those of you who really work with the left-handed path. That's all you do. That's all you do is evil, evil, evil continually all day long. It's not going to help you, all right? It would be best for you to turn yourself back unto the God of love, whomever you would call God, or your roots are in. Before you got demonic, you want to go there and do that. Now, let's get back on track. Working with Saturn as the god of agriculture, wealth, and war, what is going to happen is when you're working with Saturn itself, it is an earth energy. Remember, it rules Capricorn. So when you are dealing with Saturn, what you can do is actually work with the ground. You can actually work with the ground. If you want to work with Saturn, you want to work with the ground. You want to stick petitions in the ground. You want to be able to bring or get soil from the ground and put it on your altar. You want to be able, if you want to be able to manifest with Saturn energy, you want to be able to work with dirt. Make sure you are understanding where you are getting your dirt from. If you want watch this, if you want a specific house and it is vacant and it does not belong to anybody, you want to be able to get it in a righteous way, or the right way. You want to go ahead on and get that, and you want to petition Saturn for it. Now, if you want to couple it with St. Joseph, you can. However, St. Joseph requires a certain type of energies back to them, okay? And Saturn, what you want to do, and I'll tell you how to pacify Saturn later on, okay? Also, with wealth, you want to get bank dirt. If you want a loan from that specific type of bank, you want to go ahead, and again, remember, you want to do these things in decency and in order when it comes to you wanting to get wealth to establish the covenant upon the earth. Listen, everything is manipulation. Sound is manipulation. Numbers are manipulation. Words are manipulation. Everything. Now, manipulation has a bad connotation, unfortunately. However, you would be surprised how beautiful the word manipulation is, because you can manipulate things into your highest good. For example, if you are having a bad day, you're depressed, or you have a headache, you can actually look up frequencies and solfeggio scales online and play that in order to relieve you of your headache or a bad day. Okay? You can meditate to different types of sound bowl sound frequencies that can actually manipulate your day, or how you feel in a better energy, can lift your spirits up. That is also an example of sound manipulation. So do not always think of the word manipulation as a negative connotation, even though it is used that way. Okay? It is definitely used that way. Now, the next thing I wanted to point out is, again, going back to war, Saturn energy is slow moving. Okay? So when you petition Saturn, though Saturn can immediately show up, it actually can go for an extremely long time. It takes approximately 29.5 years for it to revolve around the sun, go around the sun. So what you want to do is make sure that whatever you put in place dealing with Saturn, that you are comfortable with it going around for a very long time. Anytime you do any work with Saturn, it's going to be long term. So make sure that you are planting good seeds, because once its return is done, 29.5 years or 30 years, what happens is, if it was good, you put it out there, then once it returns to you, it returns unto you good. Because Saturn itself is a soil. You're planting something into Saturn to get it back. Okay? So it's like the scripture that says, my word will not return unto me null and void, but it will set out and accomplish everything that I told it to do. So when you set out a word and it comes back fulfilled, in other words, when you claim something, when you say, I'm going to have such and such, and then it comes back to you and actually get it, that was a word fulfilled, or what you call law of attraction or manifestation. That is exactly what Saturn energy entails. It is a very strong energy. Okay? It is a strong manifestation energy. That's why you have to be careful what you put in the soil of Saturn. So again, remember, it's the god of agriculture, farming, wealth, and war. The second one is Cronus. Okay? Or we like to call him Kronos, but it's Cronus. Now, the Greek god Kronos, who, no offense, lost his mind. This is a merciless energy. This was a merciless energy. Now, he was a merciless energy. I suggest that you do your research before conjuring or working with him, okay? Because what happens is he can be very merciless. But if you work with him, remind him that he is good. He's a good deity, and that he's a good energy, and that he actually saved himself, his mother, and the Titans. Because Kronos is a hero. Remind him that he does good, and that you're coming to him for good, that you're petitioning him for good only, for good only. Even if he has to get merciless, he does it on your behalf, and it'll be only for good. Do not petition Kronos if it is not for good. He is in a specific energy that you do not want to get him out of. If you petition Kronos for evil, he will wreak havoc in your life, because you should have never asked him to do that. Again, you want to approach Saturn deities with caution and respect, okay? Kronos is a good energy to work with. I just personally wouldn't work with him unless it was necessary. But again, he is a hero. He did good. You want to make sure that you always remind Kronos that he is a good Titan. He's a good hero. He did good, and he's going to be doing good, okay? Last but definitely not least, the goddess Ops. Okay? Or some people says Ops. Okay? Now, I'm going to say Ops, but Ops. Okay? Tomato, tomato. She's the goddess of wealth and fertility. Now, she is different. What I like about her is that she's fun, she's free, she's spunky, she's spirit filled, but you do not want to cross her. You want to do right by her. She's a very easy energy to work with. She actually loves to be worked with. She loves to be petitioned. She loves to be honored and praised. There's nothing wrong with people receiving honor and praise, just like deities can receive honor and praise. You just don't want to put this deity or any other deities for that matter over the true and living God. However, because God created these these other deities, big deities, middle deities, lesser deities, she is definitely one to be reckoned with. She is a bomb ass energy. Let me tell you about Opes. Let me tell you how to work with her. First of all, you clean your home, you play upbeat music, you dance, and if you have a tambourine, because she loves tambourines, please get one. Wear bright colors, let the sun shine in your home. Open the blinds, open up some windows if you want to, but you don't have to, but you can let some clean air in, but you can open up the blinds, okay? Because this is what she likes. She wants you to have a high energy when you're working with her. You offer corn to her, preferably corn off the cob and it's roasted, okay? If you do not know how to roast corn, just look it up, DIY roasted corn on YouTube. You should find some videos that will show you step by step on how to do that. Now, when you offer the corn to her, you can offer it to her in a basket, a woven basket. You can put it on a plate. You can put it in the bowl. She does not care. Now, when you're working with her, she may tell you to get specific with her, okay? But she loves bright colors. She loves bright colors. She's a very, again, fun, spunky energy. She deals with wealth. She deals with fertility. She is a very abundant type of energy. She is a beautiful energy to work with. But however, when you are done with the offerings, you don't throw them away. What you want to do is put it in nature, because she wants the squirrels and small rodents to eat them. She wants to go into nature, because what ends up happening is when you give her the roasted corn, she actually blesses it. She blesses it. She blesses it. Let me tell you how she works. When you give her an offering of roasted corn, and you're doing all of this energy, right? And she likes for you. You can give her a glass of water with a candle, a white candle. That is, she's not high maintenance. She's not a high maintenance energy, and no disrespect to any other high maintenance deities out there, because it takes a special kind of person to work with certain deities. But she is not a high maintenance deity. She really wants you to actually just play her some really good upbeat music. She likes bright colors. She doesn't care what colors you give her as long as they're bright. And she does, again, play upbeat music. Clean your home though. She likes to clean home. See, she likes to clean home because she wants to come in and see what you're lacking. Okay? Whatever you're lacking, that's what she's going to give you. And whatever you're petitioning her for, that's what she's going to give you. And depending on how much of that you're lacking, she may actually give you an overflow. But if she sees that it's a home that's clogged, a home that is that's holding on unnecessary things, she's not going to be quick to move to bless you, even though she does want to. She would rather wait until you can unclog your home, and then she'll move on your behalf. She a lot of the times she doesn't say no. However, she's highly protected. She's highly protected by a spiritual military. Now, what happens is this. I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you go to Opes or Ops for war on your behalf, now, she's a really great energy to work with for the homeless. For those of you who want to petition for the homeless on behalf of anyone who is homeless, you can petition on behalf of them. She will hear your cries. And what ends up happening is, if there's somebody who is out on the streets that was not supposed to be out on the streets, she will war on their behalf, and you actually get a bonus for actually helping those homeless people, right? And let me just tell you something. You will want to do that. You would get a blessing for that if you can. For the homeless, okay? For the homeless, the widow, and the orphan. That's who she really looks over. Saturn energy. See, let me tell y'all something about Saturn deities. They are off the chain in a good way. People are afraid of Saturn energy because they are afraid of consequences. Saturn has got a bad reputation for the longest, but the truth is Saturn is probably the best energy to work with. But because it's slow moving and everybody is a microwave generation, they want everything quick, they don't understand the rotisserie energy, which means as long as you got that chicken that is rotating on that roasted fire, and it's roasting under that fire, over that fire, baby, you're going to get the juiciest chicken out of everything. While everybody else is eating that salty ass, dry ass chicken, you over here eating that supple chicken. Now, I don't do meat like that, but guess what? I don't do meat. I don't do meat. I don't do meat unless it's absolutely necessary, and I can tell y'all why. That's a whole nother video. But this right here, you want to be able to work with her, because when you petition her for any kind of war to fight on your behalf, she has a spiritual military. Now, good people or those who have been wronged, who are good, can petition her when it comes to her spiritual military. Now, what is good about this is you can get now. If you want to give her the corn offering, you can. But if you are petitioning her for her to fight on your behalf, she's going to conjure up her spiritual military. This is the good thing about it. Her spiritual military, when you petition, now let's say you're not doing this for wealth, you're not doing it for fertility, you're not doing it for anything else. You're just petitioning ops or opes for war, right? Just for her to fight on your behalf, fight your battles. Now, what ends up happening is as long as you give gratitude to her and her military, and I'm talking about thank her before, thank her during, and thank her after the petition. You thank her military, her and her military before, thank her and her military during, thank her and her military after. What happens is that they actually go to war for you. Watch this. And any spoils, any weapons that they get from that war, from subduing your enemies, they actually give on your behalf to her as an offering. And it is burnt before her by her own military. How dope and deep is that? That's why she is one of the best energies to work with. Do you hear me? She will not, watch this, she will not answer the prayers of evil. She will only work with good. She will only work with good. She will not answer the prayers of evil. I'm telling you, she is probably one of the best energies to work with. She is one of the best energies to work with. If you petition her and her military to fight on your behalf, like even right now, I petition. First of all, I thank you. I'll give you an example. I thank you, Ops. I thank you, Ops. And I'm going to say Ops, okay? I thank you, Ops, as I petition you and your spiritual military to fight on my behalf. I am a daughter of Saturn. I embody the energy of Saturn. And I come to you petitioning on my behalf and behalf of my family and my loved ones across all space and time to fight on our behalf against the unrighteous, against the ungodly, against the evils. I thank you and your spiritual military even now for waging war on behalf of the righteous. And as I close my petition, I know without a shadow of a doubt, as I have this huge smile on my face, because I know you've been waiting on this. I know you've been waiting to arise. You just wanted somebody to speak your name. And because you are of a good energy and you mean well, what I do is I thank you. I close my prayer now for you and your spiritual army with a thank you. And you fight the good fight. You fight the good wars of faith. You fight the good fight of faith, and you war on behalf of the saints that are a holy energy, because you are of a good energy. And I thank you and your spiritual army, and I thank you for the greatest spoils that they're going to give you and render up to you as an offering. I thank you. It is so. That's it. That's how you petition it, right? I'm telling you, best thing since sliced bread. Let's go to the next one. So here we're going to be talking about the animals of Saturn. Now, when I did research about this planet, I seen a couple or a few outlets saying that the animals that are deemed what you call evil or dark omens are regarded or rendered as animals as animals of Satan. Now, I do agree. And why you say? Because I feel like the rejected animals are often great teachers. So everyone is afraid, like I said, everyone is afraid to work with Saturn. They're afraid to work with Saturn because of evil energies. Because again, Saturn has been told to everyone that it's just malefic only, and that's not necessarily the truth. When it's under masculine energies, it's more malefic. But now Saturn is actually being transmuted, has been transmuted, and is being transmuted into a feminine energy. So you now really want to start getting an energy to work with Saturn. You want to start working with Saturn, and watch and mark my words. Watch how popular it's about to be. It's about to be extremely popular for people to work with Saturn. Watch. You heard it here first. Okay. Animals that are black in color, they're known to be animals of Saturn. Crows, ravens, black cats, black snakes, black. Anything black. Next. Animals that burrow themselves underground. Groundhogs, weasels, foxes, badgers, moles, mongoose. All of these, any other ones. Now, believe it or not, foxes do burrow themselves underground. They do have underground. If you look at an Arctic fox, they do the same thing with snow. They prefer a burrow. That's how they feel safe. Okay. They are of the canine family that actually likes to have something to go into. They are little, and they are of a shape-shifting energy. Most Native American tribes respect the fox as a shape-shifting teacher, or of an elegba energy. Okay. Slow-moving animals, you have the ox, the camel, and the donkey. Nocturnal birds, like owls, mockingbirds, nightingales, they're also known as the animals of Saturn. And the miscellaneous ones are scorpions, goats, sheep, mice, and horses. Now, night animals, also dragons are in there. What I do want to say about the animals, when you are working with animal energy, or any of these animals may be of your totem or maybe of your spirit guide, your animal spirit guides, please keep in mind, do extensive research. If something on this list speaks out to you or has been coming at you lately, if you've been seeing a lot of crows or a lot of ravens, there may be some lessons or some karmic energies that may be coming back around to you. Crows usually call. They usually are a sign or a harbinger. They tell you of something that is either coming to you or has arrived. Not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. I just had to get over the fact that I had been seeing a lot of crows and ravens. I actually now, it's okay. It's okay. Black cats. We know the story about black cats, which are probably one of the highest orders of cats in the system, which is black cats. First cats that were created were black cats. Black snakes, which are of black mamba energy, cottonmouths, that kind of thing. You want to be able to make sure that when you're dealing with snake energy, that you call forth the good snakes that will help you restrict and or carry out specific energies on your behalf that will cut off or kill off everything that no longer serves you. And again, when you want to deal with animals that burrow themselves under the ground, you want to make sure you call up the energy of those animals to actually help you. For example, if it's financial, you want to be able to ask the groundhog. You want to be able to ask the groundhog to help you put away funds. Okay? Anything, again, that burrows under the ground. You can also deal with squirrels. How, help me to save. Teach me how to save. Groundhog energy will actually bring around specific, again, you have to look it up. Whatever speaks to you, look it up. Okay, groundhogs, they say whether they have the shadow or not. You know, the Groundhog Day. Okay, those things, and they say it's superstition, but I think it actually goes deeper than that. Weasels, which can be actually used, and weasels in the rodent family also is a form of a shapeshifter as well. What you can use weasel energy for, and weasels get a bad connotation because they are mischievous and they do steal. However, weasels can be used for Saturn energy in ways on how to skip levels. Show me a fast or a quicker way how to work smart and not hard. Bring to me certain, outlets or invocations that will teach me how to maneuver through to get my way. Okay, here, there. If you're dealing with a job, for example, dealing with job energy, you can call up the weasel spirit to help. How can I maneuver up the ladder faster in a more righteous way, but I'm skipping levels? You get what I'm saying? You can do that. Foxes, again, are shape-shifting energy when it comes to Saturn. When you want to deal with road openings, that kind of thing. Badger energies will keep away other badgers. Badger energies will keep away. Remember, to badger is somebody who's consistently, I know y'all can't see what I'm doing, but pushing your buttons. You can actually send badger energy to other badgers, which means people who come to push your buttons, who come to work your nerves unnecessarily, they're sent by a lesser energy or a more demonic energy. You can send a badger spirit back to them, and that can actually work in your favor. Moles can actually sniff out other moles. Okay, moles, Saturn energy. Moles actually can also find you a way of an escape out of something. For example, you go in one way, you can come out another way. If you go in, let's say, for example, you go in a place, it's one way in, one way out, and it was a trap. What ends up happening is mole energy will help you find your way out. Moles will help you find your way out. You're in a labyrinth, you're in a maze, and I'm talking about real literal mazes. Like, you know, they have those cornfields that they turn into mazes. Sometimes you have to be careful during Halloween. They use these cornfields and they turn them into mazes to actually sometimes trap people who have strong energies, godlike energy. Let me just say it like that. Goddess and godlike energy. Your emperor, your empress, your god, your goddess, you are angelic order. They actually, some people use Halloween, to time of Halloween, to actually do evil. So let's say, for example, you're in a maze, a physical maze. You want to call on that mole energy to help you out. That mole energy will help you out. Mongoose, they work quick. If someone's sending spiritual snakes your way, you want to call on the spirit of a mongoose. Mongoose will arrest that snake spirit. Not only arrest it, it's going to kill it. Now, you have to tell that mongoose spirit to send it back. Send that snake back, but it will kill it. Okay? You have to tell the mongoose spirit to send that snake back. Because if not, it's going to automatically kill it. That is what it eats. It eats snakes. It kills snakes and it eats snakes. Slow-moving animals, oxes, camels, and donkeys. All three of these have money energy. But, however, they fall into different compartments. The ox has the most potential for money energy, but it moves slow. However, Once you deal with oxen energy, you put it into play, it lasts for the longest time. That's it. Camel energy, it makes your money last. Um, uh, Ox energy, let me back up. Ox energy for money, monetary gain, or let's say you want a long lasting career. Let's say you get into the military, you want a long lasting career in military, you want to do Saturn energy, you want to work with Ox energy under the Saturn, under the day of Saturn, under Saturn planetary magic. What you're doing is you want a long-lasting career that's going to grow and it's going to be strong and it's not going to be shakeable or movable. That's how you want to do it. You want to do that with career. You want to do it with money. You want to do it with relationships. You want to do it with whatever. That's what you want to use, Ox energy. Camel energy is when famines are arising, when things are supposed to be falling apart. This is what's going to last. If you want something to last over a period of time, even if other circumstances is telling you it's supposed to be falling apart, you want to use camel energy. That's what you want to do. It's resilient. It will last. It will weather the storm. Okay? You want your money to weather whatever storm, do it under camel energy, under Saturn planetary magic. Donkey energy is what you want to call a new energy. It's new energy, but it's to plow, right? It's to help you plow. So what happens is it's for people who wants to if you are looking to start a new business, you want to use donkey energy. Donkey energy or ass energy, yes, I said ass energy, is going to help you plow it's going to help you start to make sure it's going to turn over your soil. Okay? You're going to plow your soil and make sure that it's fertile. Donkey energy is to make sure that things are fertile. Donkey energy is to make sure things gets jump started. Now, when you are dealing with donkey energy with Saturn is just to start it. Start it. You wanna then grab hold to something that is going to keep it there. Okay. So donkey energy is what you call a temporary energy for long-term goals. All right. You don't want to hold on to donkey energy. Donkeys don't like being held on too long. Okay. Now, if you break down the word donkey, it is a Don key. Okay. It's the key of Don. Don. Donero. Don. Don energy. Donero energy. Starting energy. It's a key, which means it opens up the door. When you walk through it, you then have to now gather the things for long term. Okay? Donkeys will start kicking when they are overworked. So you don't want to overwork this donkey energy. You want to get it in and get it out and then replace it with something else. You could do oxen, you could do camel, or any other slow moving type of energy. You can use elephant energies. However, elephant energy is more of a Jupiter energy, okay, because it is overabundant. It is overabundant, okay. Now, if you want to do Jupiter and Saturn together, you want to do elephant energy with Saturn, you want to make sure that you do it under a feminine energy, because Saturn under feminine energy actually marries Jupiter masculine energy. So you want to utilize Ganesha energy, elephant energy under the rules of Saturn, okay? But do it under feminine Saturn. Nocturnal birds, you have owls. This is for insight, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, word of wisdom, word of knowledge, past, present, future. This is also for necromancy. You have to be careful with owl energy. People are familiar with owls, but they don't quite respect owls. I don't think people understand how, I'm not going to say dangerous it is to work with owl energy, but owl energy carries the spirit of death. You want to make sure that you respect it. If you have an owl energy over you, you are a respectful person, a respected or well-respected person, and you are protected, highly protected. Okay? Mockingbirds can actually this is the good part about mockingbirds. Mockingbirds actually acts as a shield over you, or a covering or protection energy over you when it comes to the spirit of Saturn, because it actually talks back to or mocks your enemies. So it sings back to the enemies, your enemies, back to it what it was sending to you. So mockingbird energy is extremely good to work with. Also, owl energy, if anyone sends you some form of pestilence. So let me just say this to you. Pestilence in the form of spiritual energy will come in the form of mice, roaches, any infestation, overabundance of infestation, bed bugs, that kind of thing. Owl energy will come and eliminate all of that. So if someone's came and sent you a spiritual pestilence, and it actually is taking a physical form where you know you're a cleanly person, but you're seeing more roaches than usual, then you want to call on that owl energy. You want to first give honor and respect to the owl energy, because owl energy does not come in small. It comes in huge. And it can have a huge face, and it can scare you, but it comes to protect you. You can't be afraid. It will eat up anything. Owls love when you call on them for protection. Okay, but always tell them that you're coming in as an energy, as a respectful energy, because it's going to come and fuck up whatever it is. And it's going to be your eyes when you can't see, and it's going to be a protective energy over you when you are sleeping. Nightingales, do not underestimate this small bird. This is what you call thunder and lightning energy. Nightingales can actually, it's like the equivalency of the sprites that you see flashing during a lightning storm. Nightingales are kind of like the equivalency of that. That small bird actually is a huge impact. Nightingales will sing the enemy's demise. That's how powerful that small bird is. It will sing its demise to you. Also, nightingales will come in the form of singing birds in the daytime. Sometimes those birds will sing to lift up your spirits, but it also will warn you. For example, if you're living with someone who is more of an evil nature and was actually sent to harm you, they will sing to you. They will sing to you, and it will sound beautiful, but they're warning you. Okay? If you are dating, you have a small bird. There's a small bird somewhere. That could be also the spirit of a nightingale. It can be in the form of a swallow. It could be in the form of a finch bird. But if it's singing, and let's say someone shows up and you've been suspecting them of evil, most likely that bird starts singing. That's the spirit of the nightingale on that bird, if it's not a nightingale itself. Okay? Now, miscellaneous animals of Saturn or insects of Saturn is going to be scorpions, goats, sheep, mice, and horses. Yes, I said horses. Why? Because horses have a longevity. Horses can do a lot of things over a long period of time. You can journey across the world with a horse. As long as you treat it right, it can eat and replenish its energy. A horse will serve you for a lifetime. Saturn, a lot of the times, is for a lifetime, right? Mice, okay, mice, now, that's a different energy. Mice, they like to burrow. This is more of an intelligent energy. This is an intelligent energy on the fact that when you are dealing with mice energy, first of all, they understand family units. Okay, they work alone, or they can work in family form. Okay, they understand that 2 heads are better than 1, 3 are better than 2, 4 is better than 3, so on and so forth. They have mice energy. Mice energy, they have family or group orientated energy, but they also can work alone. What Saturn can do is, actually, you can petition Saturn when it comes to mice energy. Not and again, I know I talked about famine and all of this, and pestilence and plagues and stuff like that, but actually you could petition Saturn for mice energy to bring your tribe, your soul tribe. Okay. Sheep energy. Now, sheep energy, on the other hand, when it comes to Saturn energy, This is a twofold, this is a double-edged sword when it comes to sheep. Because sheep usually puts all their trust in their shepherd. So this is kind of like a sheep being led to the slaughter type energy, which is you can confuse and dumbfound your enemies. You can confuse your enemies and make them dumbfounded. Okay, you literally send a spirit of dumbfoundedness or lead them to the demise kind of thing. Of course, this is righteous retaliation. All right. On the other hand, what you can do is under sheep energy, you can actually ask, as like the wool on a sheep grows and gets thick. What you can do is use sheep energy or shepherd energy for protection energy. You can do it. You can do it for protection energy, and you can also use the analogy of a sheep's wool growing on them for money. However, remember, eventually you have to cut the wool off the sheep, because if you don't, they weigh it down, malnutrition, and all kind of health problems happens. So when it comes to funds, you want to make sure when you're dealing with sheep energy under Saturn and it's dealing with money, you want to make sure that it's something temporary, right? If it's startup, if you need to build funds to do this, or hey, I want to raise this much money to do that. That's what sheep energy is for. Goats. Now, this is what you call the right-handed path of Baphomet. Okay? The right-handed path of Baphomet, which is using evil energy for good, which is basically you take the left-handed path and you use it in the right-handed way. Okay? Goat energy, this is the animal of Saturn. So this is what you call reverse scapegoating. This is everybody who has been deemed the underdog, the black sheep. You've been overlooked. You've been laughed at. Your heart, your heart is good. You love people, and you've been done wrong. You've been abused. You've been misused. And you still are in a righteous, loving energy, but you can't trust anybody. This is what you use. You use goat energy underneath Saturn. So this is how you petition. When you are using goat energy under the energies of Saturn, I suggest that you do this on the day of Saturn. If you do not want to be afraid, do it during the day. At night, goat energy will come up, Baphomet will show up, but it will not be to harm you. It will be to help you, but it can be an overwhelming energy. But what ends up happening is that it will search your heart first. And then when it finds you righteous, this is again, just like the deity Ops, the goddess Ops or Opes. She actually searches the hearts of who's being protected. A lot of these deities will search your heart. Don't get it twisted. Okay? A lot of these deities will search your heart. But what ends up happening is when you're found right, and again, remember, we're talking about the righteous side of Baphomet. When it petitions the righteous part of Baphomet, what ends up happening is, and I almost want to say she, because Baphomet is a hermaphrodite, but she searches your heart and she finds your tears. And what happens is when she finds your tears, she will trace your tears back to who caused them. Now this is where you got to be careful, okay? Because she won't let up unless that person makes it right. Remember, Saturn stays in revolvement for 29.5 years. So you have to understand that when you put it forward, that's it. And the only way she gonna let up off their ass is if they repent. And they're gonna have to come to you and repent, or if they are really of a real righteous nature, and I mean they have to be of an extreme righteous nature, they can tell her that they can tell her that they are sorry for real, but they have to do a whole 180. They can't do anything else, because they do something else, she gonna come back. It's almost like a haunting energy, a haunting spirit, okay? But it's for the righteous. She don't play. Female Baphomet don't play. She stands in her power, and she is who she is. Scorpions, self-explanatory. Now, they sting on your behalf. They do a lot of things on your behalf. But what you have to understand too is you have to be careful, because don't call upon scorpion energy unless you are willing for that scorpion energy to sacrifice itself, because it will on your behalf. But if it does not have to sacrifice itself, let it know. But if it will in battle just to take down your enemy, it will. But you cannot be soft-hearted toward it losing its life, because scorpions understand. They do understand the wage of war, and they are willing to put themselves on the line just for you. Now, what you also can use scorpion energy for is when people are fucking with your money, or they're trying to make you get fired, you can, under the energy of Saturn, conjure up scorpion spirit, and they will sting the hands of anybody who will try to steal, take away, or unjustly or unrighteously do anything, any harm to you, your finances, your whatever you're trying to protect. Okay, that's how that works. So I hope that this explained a lot with animal energy with Saturn. Let's go to the next thing. We're going to go to the plants. We're going to talk about the plants, herbs, metals, and gems of Saturn. Now, I did not put up any pictures for this, okay? I want y'all to listen closely and carefully, because y'all are going to need y'all going to need to jot this stuff down, because it's time for us to start putting down on paper what we're learning, okay? Or at least typing it and saving it, okay? So, the plants, the herbs, the metals, and the gems of Saturn. Now, not necessarily in this order, but I'm going to break down to y'all what they are and how to specifically use these energies, okay? Now, there is a metal / mineral called litharge. It's Litharge. It is a lead monoxide that is used as a pigment to color glass and ceramics. So I suggest that you go and get you a red glass cup, or a red glass bowl, or red ceramic bowl, or red ceramic cup. When forming an altar to Saturn or working with Saturn energy. Okay. Why red? Because again, litharge is a lead monoxide that is grinded down and is used as a pigment to color glass and ceramics. Okay, so when you're using that, you're using the red, the oxide, the litharge that colors that glass or ceramic as an offering to Saturn. Okay, it's not the color red, it's the litharge that they use to pigmentate that color, to get that color. Okay, so under the plants and herbs kingdom, we have mullein. Okay, which is good for the lungs and coughing. Now, if you take mullein oil and garlic, it clears ear infections. Okay. Now, mullein is you can find it in tea form. You can find it in regular herb form in the stores, especially in the Mexican aisles and Spanish aisles. And a lot of your stores have mullein. You can use this energy as for Saturn energy to deal with basically opening the lines of communication between you and Saturn. Shaved grass, which is called horsetail. This is also a great herb to work with, a really good one to work with. If you are having issues with your bones, you have urinary tract infections, I suggest that you make a tea out of shaved grass and drink that. You have also the Ayurvedic plant neem, which is good for ulcers and diabetes, constipation. It is the planet of the traditional Hindu system called Ayurveda. Okay. Gems. You have sapphire, amethyst. You have Apache tears. When in retrograde, you can use Apache tears even when Saturn is not in retrograde. But Apache tears is really good. Clear quartz is used for legal matters when it deals with Saturn. Kyanite to clear blockages and cut ties when something is ending. But to be honest with you, I recommend amethyst. And the reason why I recommend amethyst to work with Saturn energy is because it is a protector under the energy of Saturn, because it keeps nightmares away. If you really want to work with Saturn energy, especially for your babies, amethyst, amethyst, amethyst. If you have a baby who is sleeping in the crib, put amethyst up underneath not the pillow, but put amethyst up underneath the mattresses. You got the little small, or you can take the little big rocks and put it underneath there, and then put the mattress on top. That way your baby is not only protected while the baby is sleeping, but the mares of the night cannot get a hold to your child. Okay? Mares of the night cannot get a hold to your child, which is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It also can ward off energies to keep you from getting being overly drunk. Keep away over drunkenness, if that's a word. Amethyst also can pacify any karmic justice rendered upon your life. For example, you've done some wrongings and all of a sudden now you want to get back into the good graces of God. There are consequences of certain things you do have to pay back in the spiritual realm. It can kind of make it a little bit easier for you to deal with the blow. It can also soften the blow in some situations as well. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Now we're talking about parts of the body and chakra correlation for Saturn. Now, when we talk about parts of the body and chakra correlation for Saturn, this is what we have. First, we're talking about joints. Your joints and your body, we're talking about muscles. We're talking about tissues. These things are what Saturn rules, the parts of the body. This is why we want to make sure, and again, this is from birth until death or old age. Over time, remember, Saturn is an energy that deals with things over time, long term. So you want to make sure that when you are under Saturn energy, like the day of Saturn, you want to be able to rest or do exercises, that kind of thing. It's always best. I know people want to take off and not do anything on a Saturday, but the truth is, it's actually really good for you to work your body, get your joints or whatever on a Saturday. Now, you don't have to do vigorous work. What you can do is go ahead and do a lot of chantings. You could do a lot of yoga. When I mean yoga, I'm talking about stretching and all of that other stuff. You want to make sure that your joints, your muscles, and your tissues are in good shape. When you do that under the energy of Saturn, you can even do spell work for that. But you want to be able to, let's not be totally spiritual where you ain't no earthly good, y'all. Please make sure that if you are doing health magic on yourself, that you are actually putting forth the effort as well, so that you can be able to reap the best benefits possible. Okay, you want to be able to make sure that you reap the best benefits possible. Now, the chakra, of course, is the crown chakra that deals with Saturn. Okay, Saturn energy. Now, what you are dealing with when it comes to the chakra correlation for Saturn, you get higher downloads and uploads of knowledge and learning, but you have to beware of lower vibrational frequencies trying to penetrate the aura and chakra, okay? Because your chakra is, when it's wide open, you're able to receive, again, uploads, downloads, and that kind of thing. Esoteric knowledge, occultic knowledge. But what ends up happening is that you want to make sure that your crown chakra is guarded and protected. So under Saturn energy, when working with the crown chakra, you want to first always, in anything you do, always put protection energy out there first. Then you want to go ahead on and do crown chakra work. I suggest that you do cleansing and balancing first, and then you ask to receive the higher downloads and uploads, okay? Now, this is where I like, you know me, I like this. Candle colors and keywords for spell work. Now, this is where you know, hey, you might want to go ahead on and do your own footnotes. But I'm going to show you something. This is my time, well, not timeline. This is my line of different colors that I took to break down. Black is commonly known as the original color of Saturn, which is protective energy. Color of the void or womb. This is the manifesting color. Okay? Remember, the spirit of the Lord hovered over the deep. The world was without form and void. This is Saturn energy. Form and void. Void, womb, matrix, right? Then God said, let there be light. So from out of the darkness came the light, which means manifestation happened. The law of attraction was established by the word, right? By speaking the word. Abracadabra, I create what I speak. All right? So, why I want to say namaste, I don't know. However, this is the color of the void. This is the color of the womb. So when you are doing magic and spell work under Saturn energy, you want to use black when you want to manifest. You can ask for whatever you want to ask for. Just make sure you're okay with any consequences, because you have good consequences and bad consequences. Remember, whatever you put in Saturn soil, she is going to give back to you, whether she is in masculine form or feminine energy. And you do not, I repeat, you do not want to put something out there that you don't want to get back. Now, if you have to do something like a protective energy underneath Saturn, and you got to return to sender, or you got to send some shit out, and you're righteous, you're doing it in a righteous manner, it will not harm you when it come back around, all right? Because you were in the righteous energy, okay? Now, that's just what it is. Okay, don't freak out, don't overthink it, but you do want to be respectful. And watch this, there's a built-in protection policy for your own protection. If you are doing something you ain't got no business doing with a black candle under Saturn energy, it will convict you. You will not be able to get away from the conviction, okay? It will convict you. And if you do not heed it, then you're going to be done for. Okay, you're just gonna have to do a lot of repenting, and when it comes back around, you know, if it does so happen to want to render you karma, just know it's for your highest good. Because one thing Saturn is going to do, even under a malefic energy, it's still going to teach you something. It's still going to teach you a great work. Okay, but thank God she is underneath a more feminine energy than masculine. Thank you. Okay. Blue, this is the gentle energy of Saturn. This is for you to petition Saturn energy to work with you with ease, right? So again, if you want long-term health, if you want long-term whatever, and you don't want it under an aggressive energy, because Saturn can be aggressively teaching us, again, more not I don't want to use the word strict, but more so I need for you to, how can I say this? Saturn does it kind of like, it takes the edge off. If you use blue energy, it takes the edge off. It's more of a gentler energy. Okay, it's gentle. And again, if Saturn just so happened to be in more of a masculine energy, this is where you want to use blue. You want to use the color blue. Light blue, dark blue, it doesn't matter as long as it's a blue candle. Okay? Green, long-term growth and long-lasting spells. Remember, anytime you want to grow something, I don't care if it's hair, I don't care if it's money, I don't care if it's your career, I don't care if it's actual seeds in the ground if you're a farmer. This is where farmers actually want, if you want rain and you want to be able to work the ground and get a great harvest back, you want to do Saturn energy with a green candle. So for those of you, listen, who are farmers, especially if you have the last name Farmer, you can use this green energy underneath the spirit of Saturn, okay? Of course, white when you can't find any other color. Um, because this is the go-to color because it's easily programmable. Okay. Now I want to say this because in all things and all that getting understanding, I want to make sure that y'all understand what y'all getting into. Again, Saturn is a beautiful energy to work with. Okay. Now, keywords for spell work when it comes to Saturn. Spiritual upgrades. When you're doing spell work, these are the keywords to look out for or to use when you're petitioning. In other words, keywords are what are you asking for? Spiritual upgrades, karmic justice, receiving knowledge, rites of passage. Now, these rites of passage, and let me just, because I got my notes, I know y'all hear me in the background. Rites of passage. Let me show. Rites of passage, I have in parentheses, especially for farmers. Now, rites of passage for me, when it comes to people who work the ground, agriculture, they are being taught what you call a farmer's almanac. Farmer's almanac tells you what to plant in the ground, when to plant it, how to plant it. Okay? That is an initiation by itself. But rites of passage also, too, when you have a child that is going from adolescence to adulthood, this can also be a rite of passage that you can use to actually set that child, especially if their life before that has been just really slow moving and really not good for them, and you know your child has been dealing with like depression or whatever, you can actually run them through a rite of passage before they turn what they call the age of adulthood, which is 18 and up. Now what you can do is you can do a rite of passage. You can do any types of rites of passages underneath Saturn's energy, as long as you want it to work in favor for that person for the good. So make sure that the rites of passages are for the good. Okay. Death and rebirth. You can also I'm also hearing you can also do Santa Muerte energy. I just want people to make sure that they understand working with Santa Muerte. She is a very loving energy. I do believe she falls underneath the Cancer sign, zodiac sign Cancer, because she can be extremely clingy, which means she loves hard, okay? She loves hard, and when you ignore her, she does not like it. So I suggest that when y'all are working with Santa Muerte, make sure that you communicate with her. I do not believe in, and this is just me personally, and I could be wrong, and it could be for other people. I do believe that she understands you. For example, I used to think that she didn't care if you were busy or if you couldn't really talk to her right then and there, whatever. She does like for you to, she likes your attention, but I do not believe she's going to like badger you or make it hard for you to like deal with her. She loves for people to work with her. She's just, and I don't want to even use the word clingy because I don't want y'all to run away from her. She's a beautiful energy to work with. She just loves her because she's loyal as fuck. She's loyal as fuck. She's a Cancer. She has a Cancer sign energy, which is a loving mother, but she can turn into a Scorpio energy real quick and fuck you up. But you have to press her. You have to press her because she will not turn on her children. She will not turn on her children very easily. You have to literally betray her for real, in order for her to come through. But Santa Muerte is a really good energy to work with. Please look into it. And I love you, Santa Muerte. She has looked out for me. She is a beautiful energy. That's all I'm going to say. Safe passage. If you are doing long-term or even short-term travel, I suggest that you just even do spell work just for your own self for traveling for the next 5 to 10 years. You can do that. For the next 5 to 10 years, safe travels and safe passages, okay? Especially if you are the type of person who is always daily traveling under tunnels, under bridges, over bridges. For those of you who walk hallways a lot in your daily workings, if you go to work you work in a cubicle or whatever, you got to walk hallways. Hallways are like purgatories. They're like, they are in the middle. They're in the middle. So a lot of things can happen in the middle, okay? So you want to make sure that you're covered when you are passing through hallways, passing over bridges, under bridges, that kind of thing, okay? Because you're actually going, it's almost like portal jumping. I know you don't see it, but it's portal jumping. So you're going from one thing to another. So safe passage is there. Peace within the storm. Whenever you want to deal with spell work for Saturn, peace within the storm, this can be long term. Why? Because you don't know how long something can last. If you're dealing with a court case that is giving you hell or different other things, you can petition peace within the storm. If you're going through divorce, if you're going through grievances, if there's a separation, for example, you have a child that is going off into the military, you want peace within the storm while they are going through basic training. You can do that while they want to do a military career. You can set it for long term. Remember, this is rotisserie. You want to set it and then forget it. Once the spell work is done, you want to be thankful and grateful unto the energies and the deities of Saturn, and then you want to release. You don't want to be hounding over spirit work, spell work when you do with Saturn. Once you put it into place, that is it. You do not, it's not Jupiter energy. Jupiter is more quick, and sometimes it don't last as long. Jupiter energy may be slow to move, but it lasts. Do you hear me? It lasts. So this is not, a lot of people, you don't have to work with Saturn a lot, but you do want to form a healthy relationship with Saturn, because you will need Saturn for, like, again, karmic justices, spiritual upgrades, different things. You can always go to Saturn, and you can let Saturn know, hey, look, this may not be long term, but I'm just coming to you to open up because Saturn has what you call mysteries. You can work with Saturn for her mysteries. Righteousness. She will not give you, watch this. This is why a lot of people have hard times working with Saturn, because Saturn, working with Saturn itself is a rite of passage. Not everybody can come to Saturn. Now I understand why it took so long for me to do this video. Because in order for me to do this video, I had to go through a rite of passage. You cannot work with Saturn unless you go through a rite of passage. That's why a lot of people only see her as, see him, her as malefic. No disrespect to the Hindu community, but this is the truth. When you understand Saturn, and the only reason why now Spirit is allowing for me to make it go public is because the energies of Saturn has changed. It has now moved from more of a masculine energy to now more of a feminine energy, because the age of Aquarius rules. Under the age of Pisces, Saturn was Father Time, was malefic, more bloodthirsty. Now it is balancing itself out, and the void or the womb now is open. Hallelujah. That's a word. Y'all better start planting good seeds. There's a reaping and a sowing going on at the same time. Transformational change. This is where you get the crystallization of the cocoon energy, right? But Saturn also brings forth metamorphosis. To transform and then metamorph is two different things, right? Let's say, for example, transformational change is the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. But if you look at the butterfly in the middle, that caterpillar still exists. It just has wings. It went through something. It grew something. It shed something. That's transformational change. Metamorphosis is to put, let's say, for example, if I had a microwave and I put a cup in there, I closed the door. I didn't push a button or nothing. Or let's just say I did push a button just for the fun of it. And I opened up the door and a puppy came out. That is what you call a metamorphosis. Something totally different coming out of something that I did not put in. That's what this is. Transformational change and a metamorphosis. Okay? That's what Saturn does. Any long-term changes of the highest good it's good for you to work with Saturn. In conclusion, and I thank y'all for being with me this far, okay? First of all, and this is probably some of the most important energies that most important side notes or lanyap or gems that I'm getting ready to give you. Okay? Let me find my notes. What is Saturn's return in conclusion? Saturn's return is what grows you. It matures you. It helps you shed old skin, old mindsets, and often through hard lessons and pain, it just, again, it brings you through a metamorphosis. But you come out of it so much more beautiful for it. It can be painful. It is painful. It's, again, like I said, hard lessons. You almost want to curse God, or you just kind of want to give up. But Saturn's return is the end of your woes and your sorrows. And it jump starts the beginning of your jubilee, which is your reaping your good harvests, right? And Saturn is slow to move because I told you its impact lasts longer, right? And Saturn gives you time to make sure your decisions are correctly made, or whatever you want to stick to you in life will be able to grow, right? She wants to make sure that you are sure this is what you want. So she moves slower to make sure, like, hey, I'm gonna keep bringing this thing around until I know for a fact this is what you want. Okay, this is what's sticking. This is what he or she wants. This is what I'm gonna give him, right? So you have to understand that. Thank God Saturn exists, because in the law of attraction, what you think becomes. Now, you think a lot of stuff all day long. You might have thought that you would have had a car accident yesterday, but thank God Saturn exists. You know why? Because Saturn, actually, Chronos, slowed that time down on your behalf and plucked that bad thing out of there so it wouldn't happen. So Saturn energy is necessary, y'all. Any form of restriction or delay is to discipline you, teaching you how to examine your internal truth to find what you need to uproot may be causing Saturn to have its foot on your neck. Saturn is actually helping you to come into a maturity that is going to, in the end, serve you to your highest good. Okay? Saturn also gives you vision and planning. I just told you can't do nothing without Saturn energy. And it slows you down, and it gives you a plan. You can ask Saturn to actually help you, to give you a plan that will work for you and help you execute it, right? So that's why you can't be afraid to work with Saturn energy. And believe it or not, she's sad. Saturn is sad that hardly nobody wants to work with her, because she really wants to work with you, right? When you need to stay on track, when you need to persevere, when you need to stay, stay focused, Saturn energy is what you want to petition. All right? I hope I've helped you all. Thank you so much from me. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. If you want to be able to see the rest of these planetary systems, please go follow on the Patreon. They're already up. They're already ready to go. I can't wait till I bring y'all other stuff. All right, bye.